Look at you. You're getting power, are you? Yeah. Alright, look at that, man. Okay. Hey guys, just wanted to give a big shout out to Army Sergeant First Class James Goodman. Just wanted to say, hey James, thanks for your service. James had emailed me the other day and asked for the CNC router plans, and just want to take a minute and thank him for his service. And also I'd like to say that you know, anytime you're out and about, whether it be the grocery store or a restaurant or whatever, if you see somebody that's serving our country, take a minute and walk up to them, look them in the eye, shake their hand, and thank them for their service. We owe a big debt to those men and women. I just wanted to say that. Okay, today I'm going to be in the shop here. I'm going to work on a little video trying to show some of the steps to programming, taking it from a process of having an idea, putting it into a CAD format, moving it into the programming software, and then eventually getting the machine code and cutting the parts. So we're going to try to do that real quick. I'll try to keep the video short. So let's get started doing that. Okay guys, I'm back out here. We're going to try to run through a little demo, I guess, of, you know, I've had a lot of people email me and say, you know, can you do a video on showing how you take something from the CAD to the programming software and then get it to the to generate the G code and all that. So I want to try to do that today, and I cut this part the other day on the new CNC that I built, and if you're wondering why I'm not standing in front of it, it's because it's gone. I gave it to a friend of mine. So anyway, I'm going to use the same part again, where I've got a blank set up here, a piece of scrap, and we'll cut another one. But before we cut it, we'll go through the process showing you how you take this, you know, from a DXF, import it into the programming software, then, you know, generate the G code, then load the G code into the control software, Mach 3, and then actually cut the parts. So we're going to try to do all that. I'll try to keep this video as short as possible, but you know, there's a lot to cover here, so we're going to do that, and I'll get started right away. Okay, I'm going to try to, I've got the tripod set up here showing the screen, and I'm hoping this is going to work out okay. And if it sounds like I'm yelling, it's because I'm standing right beside the tripod where the camera is. But I'm going to try to go through here. Here you can see I've got my V-Carve Pro software opened up. This is my programming software, and what I want to do first is I want to click create a new file, which is on the list here at the left. There it asks me for the size material, the thickness, asks me whether I want my 0 to be on the top or the bottom of the material. I've got chosen the top, and also it has my XY origin position, which you'll notice I've got it checked right in the center. And I mentioned that the other day. I think that it's easy to program stuff because as long as you know your blank is big enough, you can just kind of lay a ruler across the diagonal corners, you know, and draw little lines and find the center, and then you can use that to set your 0 on your machine. And it doesn't have to be that critical because, you know, you're going to have it inside a skeleton anyway. So I don't know for sure what size part this is. It's got 7 1/4 by 7 1/4 by 3/4, but I'm just going to go ahead and click OK just to get started here. Then the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to import the file. You go down here to import, where it says import vectors, and I'm going to go find the file for that router mount plate, which is a DXF file that was saved with my CAD software. So I'm going to import that. Let's see, okay. And you'll notice the way I usually save mine, if I do a title block, I just lift the part up above the title block, and I can just easily swipe that and delete it with one swipe. Okay, so now I've got the part here. Whoops, sorry, I think I bumped the camera. Got the part here, and I can highlight this part, and I can just hit center in material, and it'll bring it down and center it. And now I want the material, I want it oriented the other way. So I'm going to hit that and just hit rotate and then I'm going to come up here and hit 90 degrees, and now it's rotated. Okay, now there's a couple of things I want to do. If you look at this part, and I'm going to try to hold this part up in front of the camera here. If you look at this part, where these double set of lines are right here in these 6 holes, there is a milled pocket, or a dado if you will. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to create that with the CNC router. And what I want to do is, if I just made a rectangle shape right here where those 2 pockets are, when it goes to mill that out with a round bit, it's not going to get the corner. So you're going to have a little radius in each corner here, and it's not going to work. You'd have to clean that out. Well, so you don't have to clean that out. The way to do that is to just create, using these commands, to just draw some extra lines. And I'm just going to come way out here like this. And what I'm doing is I'm just extending that rectangle so that when I program that, the router is actually going to mill that pocket, but it's going to go to the inside of this rectangle that I'm doing, and it's well past where it needs to be, so it will have nice square edges, and I don't have to come back and clean those off. Now I'm just going to use my trim tool here. Trim these lines. Okay, so now I've got these rectangles, but what I want to do is I need to tell the software that those rectangles are all one thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the join command, and I'm going to hit this, and then I'm going to hold the control key down, or I'm sorry, shift key down, and highlight that one, and then I'm going to come over and highlight this one. Okay, then I'm going to click join, and now you'll notice that when I go to highlight one of these, the whole rectangle shows up. So that's what I want it to do. Now this outer profile, you can see now that when I start, it's not joined together either. So I'm going to come back here and tell it my outer profile. I'm going to highlight all the parts of it. And tell it to join that as well. And again, you'll see now when I highlight that, it's all one piece. So now I've got this thing where I'm ready to put a toolpath on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the Toolpath tab, which is right up here. Again, I'm using V-Carve Pro. This is really good stuff. I can't brag enough about it. It's been great stuff. I love it. And it's really easy to use. Very, very user friendly. So that's why I'm using it for this demonstration. Okay, so the first thing I want to do now, if we look back at our little part, you can see that we've got 4 through holes, which are right here and right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight those holes. Again, I hold down the shift key to get all of them. Okay, then I come over to here to the Toolpath Operations menu, and I want to click Create a Drilling Toolpath. And I'm using a 1/4 inch straight cutter, or you can call it a 1/4 inch end mill. It's really just a, I think it's a 1/4 inch up spiral bit. And I want it to peck drill, and I hope you can read this. I don't know if you can or not, but it says cut depth, and notice that it says 0.78. This is 3/4 plywood. I really want it to go all the way through, so I'm going to tell it to go 0.78, so it should be about 30 thousandths past, depending on the plywood. It may be right around a little more, a little less than 3/4. But I can hit calculate that drill path. It comes up with a warning telling me that hey, you've set the material thickness at 3/4, your tool depth is 0.78. If you go through, you're going to hit your table, machine bed. Well, I know that's okay because I put a piece of sacrificial HDPE underneath, so there's no problem there. You can come over here and click Preview Toolpath, and I can preview that one, and you can see that it's going through and showing me that I'm peck drilling those holes. And if you're not sure what peck drilling is when you tell the tool, in this case that little up spiral bit, it will come down and come down a little bit, whatever amount I tell it, and then come back up to clear the chips. And it'll go down a little deeper, come back up, so it keeps going up and down, and you'll see that when we run the part. But that helps keep the bit free of the chips and helps it to cut better. So now I can go back to here. Now I want to do that pocket, and so I'm going to highlight, again holding the shift key to get the second one. I'm going to highlight both of those little rectangles there. I'm going to come over here to where it says Create Pocket Toolpath, and again I'm using the same tool, so it's going to be a 1/4 inch up spiral bit. It's going to go to a depth of 7/8, which is not what I want. I want it to go 3/8. I want it to basically mill a dado that's about halfway down through there, so about 3/8. So I'm going to set that for 3/8, tell it to calculate. Again, I can preview that toolpath. And you can see what I was talking about, why I had to extend that is because when using a round bit, you can't get a squared off corner, it's going to leave a radius. But since I'm going past that, past the outer profile, it will be a squared, a nice squared off dado. Okay, so we've got that part done. Now I'm going to come over here and I want to highlight these 6 holes that are holes where I really just want to use that tool to mark the location. It's really not critical, but I wanted to put 2 rows of 3 evenly spaced, and I hope you can see this, but I'm basically just bringing that down to where it's going down about a 1/16, and it's just going to mark that location because I'm going to come back later and drill that with the drill press with a smaller drill bit, just as a pilot hole for a screw, because I'm going to, when I put the router mounts in here, I glue those in and I screw them in from the back with wood screws. So all I really doing is trying to mark the location of those holes. So to do that, I would come back over here to my peck drilling command, and this time I only want it to go down a 1/16, but also there's about 3/8 of material that's already gone, so I'm going to tell it to go down 7/16, which would be from the top of the material 3/8 down to here, and then another 1/16, which will just leave just enough mark to locate the hole location for me. So I'm going to tell it 7/16, which is 4.375. Calculate that, and then again I can preview that. There you can see it's marked the hole location. You notice you don't see any daylight through there. It doesn't go all the way through. It only went a 1/16 down when it got to the 3/8 part. So now the only final thing we have to do is we have to go do a profile cut. So I'm going to highlight the profile, come back over here, hit Create Profile Toolpath. Again, I'm using that same 1/4 inch bit. I always try to use the same bit as much as I can, just so I don't have to stop and do tool changes. It just makes things go a lot quicker. One thing is going down 7/8, which is going to be going past, cutting all the way through, which is what I want. But also I need to make sure I put some kind of tabs there to make sure it holds it, so that when it cuts all the way through, that bit doesn't grab it and sling that part out of there, or worse yet, cut it up and mangle it up. So I check the Add Tabs to Toolpath thing. I hit Edit Tabs, and then I can come over here and I can basically just put a couple little tabs. It puts like I think that's a little T there it puts for the tab. So I'm going to put those, close that back out, hit Calculate. Again, it gives me the warning saying that, hey, you're going to cut all the way through. I know that. I've got a piece of scrap underneath it, so it's not going to hurt anything. Then I can go here, preview that toolpath, and there you can see it cutting out. And again, this is what I was talking about. When you do that dado, it will you need to extend that so that you can get nice square corners right there. So when it gets done, that part should look just like this. Okay, there are tabs. Everything looks good. You know, another thing you can do is, if you're not sure, you can actually, well, I guess I better save this. We're going to call this test, because I've actually already got this programmed in there. So we're just going to call that test for right now. And then when we go to save the, what I just saved there is I've saved this V-Carve Pro file, which has the toolpaths all saved and everything. But I haven't generated any G-code yet. What I have to do is I have to come over here, click on these toolpaths, so I'm going to highlight all those toolpaths, and I can check all of them because they are the same tool. And then I can come down here and hit save, and you notice it says output all visible toolpaths to one file, so it's going to use all of those toolpaths, those 4 different toolpaths, and generate G-code that's all in one program. And again, it can do that because it's using the same tool. If you've got different tools, you got to split it up and use one. You know, like if I was going to engrave something on here, which if I got time, we'll see how long I'm running on this video. We'll try to maybe engrave something on here so I can show you how you change tools and do that as well. So we'll see how. I don't know. I'm already running a little while here, so we'll see. Anyway, so I save this toolpath. Again, I'm just going to call this test. And I've also noticed over here, if you can see this, it says the post processor. Mine says Mach 2/3 arcs inch and then star.text, which is what it's going to generate the code. And let me cancel this just for a sec, because you can actually drop this down and you can see that this software will run a lot of different machines. You know, it's got post processors for all kinds of stuff. But mine is simply, you know, the Mach 3, because that's what I use to make my PC into a CNC controller. Alright, so I'm going to call that test. We're going to save that. It's in the CNC Router directory. Okay, now that's it. Now that I've saved the V-Carve Pro file, and I've also saved the G-code, I can now close out this V-Carve Pro software. I can go to my Mach 3 mill, which is right here. We'll open it up. Okay, now once it comes up, of course I'll hit my reset button to clear out. That's how it always opens up. It always is ready with the reset. So I'll hit load G-code. I'm going to come over here. I'm already in the CNC Router file. I'm going to hit test, hit open, and you'll notice that it now loads the code into this little window here. You can see it shows the file name. It says created Saturday, April 5th from Mach 3 from Vectric. It's got my material size there. It'll also say these are the tool paths that are used in this file: drill 1, pocket 1, drill 2, profile 1. You could actually give those names if you wanted to. And then it says tool used in this file, 2 1/4 inch end mill, which really it's a up spiral bit, but same difference, 1/4 inch diameter. So now I'm now ready to run this. So let me turn the camera off here, and we'll turn it around and point it at the machine, and we'll run this part real quick. Okay, you can see I've got just a very scrap piece of plywood here. I think this is what's left over from when I cut out one of the side panels or something like that, is what the shape looks like. But anyway, I've got an area big enough right here that I'm going to zero out the machine. So I guess that would be a good time to review how to zero out the machine. Again, what I'm doing is I'm bringing it down close to my mark there. Don't have to get it perfect because I've got plenty of room there. It looks like I'm right over my little X. I don't know if you can see my little X or not. And you notice that I've still got it, you know, that's probably a good 1/8 of an inch or so right there. So now what I want to do, now that I've got it zeroed over there, I'm going to get that reference all home on my Mach 3 software. That's going to turn, it'll turn the digital readout to zeros on the X, Y, and the Z. But now I have to reset the Z because I'm not all the way there yet. So what I want to do is I'm going to turn off the controller so that it frees this up. And again, this is why I like having a handle on it. I got a handle on this one here. I take a piece of paper, dial it down till I can feel it just start to grab that paper. Okay, now I've got it zeroed. Now I've still got zeros on my controller. The machine is a 0, but before I hit the page up so I can remove that paper, I have to turn my controller back on and then hit page up. So now it says I paged it up 8.66, which that's right, because remember to turn on the controller. And you can also check that because if I hit go to Z, you can see it now comes down, and I know that I'm right where I want to be. All 3 axes are zeroed out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fire this up and run this program real quick. I'll leave the dust hood off so that you can actually see it cut. I probably will fast forward it though because it does take a little bit to cut. So here we go. Okay, let's undo this here and see what it looks like. Okay, I've got the 2 parts in my hand. This is the one I cut the other day on the wooden CNC that we built, and this is the one that I just finished cutting in this video with my old CNC. And as you can see, parts are exactly alike, which is the way it's exactly supposed to be. So anyway, I hope you get an idea now how to do, you know, try to show some different things, how to cut a dado with a CNC, through holes, pick drilling, marking hole locations, that kind of thing. We'll get into some engraving and how to use different tools. When, you know, like you say, if you're using a different tool, you can run part of it, run that program using that tool, stop it, put the new tool in, re-zero it. I'll go through how to show you how to do that. We'll go through how to use the start up the next line number thing, where when you stop a program for whatever reason, you come back days later even and fire it up and start off right where you left off. That's a pretty cool feature. I really like that, so I want to make sure everybody knows that. But anyway, I know this is a long one. You know, I'm trying to show how to you know, how to go from CAD to programming to G-code to cutting the part. It's obviously going to take a little while, so I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, please do. You can find information too on my website at the link that'll be below in the description. And thanks again for all my new subscribers. Man, you guys are just keep on coming. It's great. But anyway, that's going to do it for this time, and we'll talk to you later.